Some August news out of Big D. The Dallas Stars signed forward Nathan Bastian over the weekend, adding some grit and size to the bottom six. Training camp is right around the corner. Roster battles are starting to heat up, and the path to the final lineup is starting to take shape.
You're Locked On Stars, your daily podcast on the Dallas Stars, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Howdy, Stars fans. I'm Joey Erickson, former producer of 105 Through the Fan. Please be sure to subscribe. We are free, available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. And as always, thank you so much for making us a part of your day and making us your first listen. Welcome back to another week of Locked On Stars, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. Today's episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNHL at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. Who's on the bubble? Who's ready to break out? And what does Nathan Bastian bring to the Dallas Stars? We're going to break it all down on today's episode of Locked On Stars. The Dallas Stars' newest signing over the weekend, Nathan Bastian, a 1-year, $775,000 annual average value. We're going to talk about him, talk about some of the roster spots that are up for grabs at training camp, and Mikko Rantanen and Jason Robertson cracked the top 20 for NHL top wingers this upcoming season. We'll talk a little bit about that as well. And for those of you watching on YouTube, yes, this is a bit of a new setup. I'm moved back down to Corpus Christi for the upcoming season of the Corpus Christi Ice Rays. Really excited about that. Our training camp is about to happen in a couple of weeks, so starting to make this place feel home a bit. We're going to continue to put some things up and try to make the background look as great as possible. But let's talk about this newest Dallas Star, Nathan Bastian. And I'm not going to be too critical of this signing because at the end of the day, it is August news. But Nathan Bastian does bring a different element. He does bring a different archetype. And you heard me quite a bit last season, especially near the trade deadline, asking for the Stars, if they were going to add a forward. Of course, we know they need defensive depth and defensive help. They're going to probably need that again this upcoming season. But if they're going to go after a forward, add somebody up front that has a different archetype, not a Sam Steele or a Maverick Bourque or even a Wyatt Johnston, where they're all sort of in that 5'10 to 6'2 range. They're not overly heavy and they're skillful. They use their speed. That's their greatest attribute. Their skating and just their overall work rate. And Nathan Bastian is completely different than those type of players. So I'm going to applaud the Stars for that at least. They went out and got somebody that is a big boy, to say the least. And Nathan Bastian is 6'4", 205 pounds. He's played his entire career with New Jersey for the most part. He did have a stint with Seattle in 21-22, but played most of his career in New Jersey. He played 59 games this past season, had 4 goals, 6 assists, and 10 points. This is not somebody that is going to score for the Dallas Stars. This is a depth signing, more than likely will be the 12th or 13th forward, and he brings an element of physicality that the Stars, I think, are probably missing on the bottom six. Radek Faksa, that's not really his game. He plays a heavier style than Oscar Beck, but Bastian is all about physicality. He's about delivering hits, and you can see that in the numbers. 138 hits this last season. That would have ranked second on the Dallas Stars if he played on Dallas last season. You can go to his hockey stat card rating, minus 7.9 offensive rating, but his defensive rating is really good, plus 1.5. So he's positive there. And I'm really intrigued to see what type of a role he's going to have in Dallas, because the Stars have all sorts of fourth line, bottom six players: Blackwell, Beck, Faksa, now Bastian. And this sort of is going to lead into my conversation I want to have next segment about roster spots up for grabs. Is Nathan Bastian going to take away the opportunity of someone like Justin Ritskovian or Artu Huru, who played in the AHL last season. And Ritskovian was somebody we've talked a bit about this summer, potentially having a chance to earn himself a roster spot in training camp and be maybe that 13th or even 12th forward for the Dallas Stars next season. And I wonder if Bastian is going to set a bit of a roadblock there for those type of players. Jim Nill added a quote to the press release. It says, Nathan will add forward depth and a physical presence to our lineup, both of which will be valuable to our organization, said Nill. We're looking forward to watching him take the next step of his career with the Stars and are excited to welcome him to Dallas. He is 27 years of age. The 2024-25 campaign marked the first time in his career that he scored at least one shorthanded power play and game-winning goal in the same season after scoring his first career shorthanded goal on October 17th and power play goal on January 29th. Bastian had 138 hits during the regular season and added 15 hits during the postseason, ranking third on the Devils with 15.5 hits per 60 during the team's playoff run. The forward has eclipsed the 100-hit plateau in 4 of his 6 NHL seasons and ranks 4th among players taken in the 2016 draft in career hits. He trails McAvoy, Tkachuk, and Luke Kunin. So there is pretty much what to expect out of Bastian. He is not going to add scoring help or scoring depth for the Dallas Stars, which I know many Stars fans are hoping Dallas can find. But at this point of the offseason, they're not going to be able to add those type of players, especially with the cap space they have. Now with the signing of Bastian, they have $405,000, just a bit north of that, of cap space. And currently they have 14 forwards under contract. Antonio Strangis is still a part of this. And I would imagine at some point he's going to be dropped back down to the AHL. And now I'm curious if this is a move for Dallas, and by the likes of it, it looks like a move where Bastian feels like he's going to be a steady presence in the lineup this next season. And of course, we still have training camp and preseason to get through, but just based off the signing and even the quote from Jim Nill, it feels like Bastian is going to have an opportunity to play quite a bit. And maybe he's going to play 50 or so, maybe north of 50 games this upcoming season. Again, he played 59 and 54 games the past 2 seasons in New Jersey, and he averaged about 10 minutes on ice. So if that's going to be the role for Bastian, I'm also curious if that's going to take away somebody like Blackwell. But with Blackwell, at least, he's a bit older, 32, going on 33. He doesn't need to be in the lineup every day. So it makes sense that Bastian is a bit younger, has a different archetype, a different presence than somebody like Blackwell or even Oscar Beck. And he can hop in every night or so, maybe 2 out of every 3 nights, and give Dallas something else on the bottom 6. Just reading through some comments, it seemed like New Jersey Devils fans were pretty happy that he is gone. And it doesn't seem like he is going to have a huge impact on Dallas, but you can essentially never have enough depth up front. This is, again, it's August news. It's nothing sexy here. I'm recording this on a Sunday afternoon, putting this up on Monday when all of you will be taking this in. But it's an opportunity for Dallas to add a different archetype, and I'll give them some credit there. You've heard me talk about it. I've been wanting some different makeups. We have a lot of the Sam Steeles of the world, or the Radek Faksa. In that case, we have 2 of them because we have Oscar Beck. Bastian's a little different. I'm not expecting a whole lot. I'm not expecting him to be a huge impact on Dallas, especially if he's playing 10 minutes a night. But, maybe he's a guy that will mix it up and add a level of grit that Stars fans were hoping to see in the postseason this last year. For those of you fans out there that want him to be tougher, here you go. This is your signing right here that the Dallas Stars made, and we'll see how it all takes place. But I want to talk about some of those roster spots that are up for grabs, and we hinted to it a bit earlier, but even on the blue line, where there is some potential for one spot that could be filled by maybe 3 or 4 blue liners and then 3 or 4 forwards that are going to be fighting for that final forward spot as well. We'll do that in just a moment. Today's episode of Locked On Stars is brought to you by Indeed. You just realized your business needed to hire somebody yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. When it comes to hiring, Indeed is all you need. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other sites. Indeed sponsored jobs puts your post at the top of the page and helps you reach the right candidates faster. Sometimes you're busy. You don't have time to look through 1,000 resumes or hundreds of resumes. That's where Indeed comes in. It makes sure your job post gets to the right candidates. That way you can hire right now and take some more time focusing on your business and some more other priorities. Now you can speed up that hiring process with a $75 sponsored job credit. Just go to Indeed.com/LockedOn right now to support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast, Locked On Stars. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring Indeed is all you need. Training camp is right around the corner, and the Dallas Stars roster is really starting to take shape. The 13 forwards that we have and know up to this point: Jason Robertson, Rope Hintz, Mikko Rantanen, Jamie Benn, Matt Duchene, Tyler Seguin, Sam Steele, Wyatt Johnson, Maverick Bourque, Oscar Beck, Radek Faksa, Colin Blackwell. And then we get to our press box situation. Who's going to be that 13th forward or even 12th forward? Nathan Bastian now enters the fold, and Justin Ritskovian or R2 Huru is another guy that I really liked actually last year after the preseason. I believe he made his debut, played in one game, if I'm not mistaken. Thinking about all the injuries that the Stars went through, they had at one point, I think, 7 rookies in the lineup. But now with Bastian seemingly going to pretty much be on the roster, at least from what it sounds like. And again, maybe I'm reading too much into that, but there's a quote from Nil, and they're excited to see what step he can take. So I have a feeling he's sort of slotted in, and now Ritskovian and Huru are on the outside looking in, where maybe they were on the bubble or at least on the inside, and they would have to maybe lose their spot. So Ritskovian is a player that is more of a scorer. I think it can add more scoring to the Stars, especially on the bottom 6. Now, if he's playing in the fourth line, playing in that role, I don't know if he's going to have an opportunity to thrive there. But he had a really nice season down in the AHL. Was actually instrumental in their playoff run a bit too. He had 60 points, 22 goals in 67 games this past season. Ended up with 9 goals in 14 games and 18 points in the Calder Cup playoffs. Now, is he going to translate to that in the NHL? Probably not. That's not where he's going to thrive. But I think he can be a Sam Steele type of impact for Dallas. High motor, can play in different situations, maybe on the PK. He's 5'10", 194 pounds. And if he adds, maybe 10, maybe dozen goals, like that's a great year for Ritskovian. And was a guy that I was hoping that's made some strides this past season, was going to have an opportunity to play or at least have a shot with the club this next season. And I just feel like it's going to be really hard now with Bastian. One, because he's a veteran, of course. He's 27. He's played in the league. He's been around, and we've talked about this so much over the last few seasons with DeBoer, and always dying, or at least lying on the side of a veteran presence. Who was an undrafted forward for Dallas that they signed a few years ago. 24 years of age. He had 24 goals and 49 points with the Texas Stars this past season. Again, a pretty strong year. He's a bit bigger too. He's 6'2", 209 pounds. He didn't have a great playoff run, 6 points in 14 games. Again, he is, I would say, maybe like an Oscar Beck in some ways, but more offensively gifted. But if I'm Dallas and you're thinking about a Bastian or Ritzkovian, it's going to be a tough decision just because I feel like Ritzkovian has a piece where he could score and maybe chip in a bit more for you offensively. But do you want to bring up Ritzkovian and play him in that role? I think this goes back to a conversation maybe we had about Maverick Bourque a few years ago when he was with Logan Stankoven, AHL, just lighting the world up. And Stankoven to some degree too. Are you going to bring up a Stankoven or Bourque to bring them in the bottom six? Maybe that's not where you envision them playing. Maybe you envision them playing higher up the lineup. So it makes sense to bring up somebody like that if you're just going to shove them in a role where they're going to play, 12 minutes and asking them to just be steady defensively more than getting some opportunities in terms of scoring. And I don't think at this point in Ritzkovian's career that's maybe the thought process behind him. He needs more speed. He'll give you some more quickness, and I think a guy that has stronger puck skills than a guy like Bastian. So Bastian, I feel like maybe road blocking those two players in particular. Also, maybe Oscar Beck. Let's kind of break that down too. I don't think that is a crazy question with them adding Radek Faksa. Maybe, just maybe, Beck is somebody that is on the outside and they'd rather have a scope more of a winger that is going to play on the wing. Whereas Oscar Beck, I think he's a guy, he's going to be best in the NHL as a center, in my opinion. So Ritzkovian or Huru are more wingers than center icemen. I know everybody kind of plays everywhere now. It's positional hockey. Ritzkovian probably has a good opportunity to beat out even somebody like Oscar Beck, because I don't really see the role for Oscar Beck on this team after Faksa has been added. And let's face it, they're paying Faksa a pretty decent amount. It's not great, obviously, but he's going to play 82 if he's healthy. I think that's fair to say. I'd rather Ritzkovian on that left wing. And then if Bastian's going to fit in every once in a while and kind of rotate out on that right wing, there's an opportunity where I think maybe it's Ritzkovian potentially his role. And we know Beck is valuable on the PK. They can fuck on the PK. They got John. They got Steele. They have plenty of options to help out on the special team side of the conversation. Now, some other roster spots that will be intriguing, and really it's just one spot, and even with Lundqvist coming back. But the seventh defenseman spot, let's put it that way, is open because you got Lindell, Labushkin, Mitchell, Lundqvist. Those are your six guys going in. So who's going to be of the group? Well, you have Alex Petrovic, who I did an episode on a week ago about maybe he's more than just that safety net. Maybe he's somebody that plays 55, 60 games this upcoming season. And you're going to have injuries. Capobianco, that's an intriguing guy. Played a game this past year. Often was the quarterback on the power play down in the AHL, had a lot of success with the Texas Stars. And then you have Kolyachonok, who they grabbed from Pittsburgh for their trade that sent Matt Dumba to the Penguins. He's a young left shot defenseman, Kolyachonok, 24 years of age. Capobianco is 27, and then Petrovic is 33. The tough part is there with Capobianco. He feels like he's kind of an important piece with Texas. And not somebody they're going to just have in Dallas just to sit for a lot of games on end, right? Like you're not going to have a guy like Capobianco, I feel like, spend 2 weeks just watching from the press box in Dallas when he could be playing down in Texas. Whereas Petrovic at his age, at this point, maybe now is somebody they'd rather have that can mix in, every 6 or 7, maybe even 10 games where he jumps into the lineup, gives somebody a rest, and comes back out. And I know Petrovic has been a solid, steady veteran presence in Texas as well. Spots down in the AHL that they want to get some younger guys promoted, get some younger guys some more minutes. So Petrovic, at this point in his career, maybe more suited for Dallas or just the organization in general to kind of, sit up at the in the upstairs, watch the game, and then give some guys some rest, or based off injuries can be brought in. Kolyachonok is in. I said earlier in the summer, I don't think he's going to play in Dallas. He played 12 games this year. He had 24 NHL career games. So there is some experience there. And potentially he gets an opportunity. It seems like there are some people and, just the Stars. I feel like he has a chance to play here and there. Just the left side's pretty strong. And even if you don't include Miro in that, Lindell, Harley, Bishel, that's a pretty good left side. And it's going to stick around for most of the season. But again, a lot of these are guys that are in the wings for injuries and such, just because I feel like the 6 are really good. It's really 7 spot now, which is going to be Petrovic, Kolyachonok, or Capobianco. Kolyachonok could have an opportunity to win that job. Maybe he has a better chance than Petrovic, but that maybe depends on a few things, and sort of goes back to my conversation about, well, if you're going to bring this guy up, you're going to want to play him. And for Kolyachonok, he's still really young, 24, maybe needs some seasoning. They may want him down in the AHL, and that gives Petrovic the advantage just to be the veteran that kind of is the 7th defenseman next season. So I think that's where the Stars are coming from. That's a perspective if you're looking at both sides for what's best for the organization and the player at that particular time. And we're going to learn more in the coming months of how that all looks. But those are a few of the roster spots and battles that we can go into training camp looking at and thinking about heading into this 25-26 season. Yes, it's right around the corner, Stars fans, which is great news. Hockey is right around the corner. Now, Mikko Rantanen, Jason Robertson, they cracked the top 20 of NHL wins. A big surprise, but I'll tell you where they landed in just a moment. Today's episode of Locked On Stars is brought to you by Monarch Money. Ever wish managing your money felt easier? With Monarch Money, it can. Whether you're growing your savings or planning a big purchase, Monarch puts you in the driver's seat. It's like having your own personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money is more than just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, spending in one place. So in addition to managing your money, you're also building wealth. Takeout or subscriptions, sometimes they add up a lot more than you expect. And that's where Monarch Money comes in. You can find out where you can dial back everything in one app. It makes it so much easier to manage your money day to day, and you can save with yourself or your partner. Maybe you're trying to save up for that big trip you've always wanted to take. Well, here you go. Monarch Money is there for you. Take control over your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNHL at Monarch Money for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com/LOCKEDONNHL for half off your first year. Well, every season, the NHL Network puts out these lists, the top 20 lists in each position, and it gives us some stuff to dissect and discuss, of course. And we like to argue lists, our lists, and really they're made because people like to disagree and argue about them. I don't know if there's going to be a ton of disagreement with where Stars players land in this one, but Mikko Rantanen and Jason Robertson land in the top 20. We'll go from back to front here. So, within the top 20 and the first 8, Jason Robertson comes in at number 16. Alex Ovechkin, Philip Forsberg, Matt Boldy, Adrian Kempe are behind Robertson. And then in front of them, you have Keller, Tkachuk, Hagel, Bratt, and Ginsel. Of course, Robertson not 100% fully healthy for the entire season. And I think when he is fully healthy and he put up that season 100-plus points a year ago, I think he is comfortably within the top 10. But I think this is a fair rating. I probably have him above somebody like Tkachuk and Keller, I think I could argue. But I see where they're coming from, especially Keller, since he just lights up the Stars every time he plays them for whatever reason. But Hagel had a really strong year. Yes, there are Bratt's in front of him. He's really underrated. I think he's a fun player to watch too. But I think it's fair to say Robertson at his best is a top 10 winger. Definitely top 8 within his respective left wing position. So Jason Robertson comes in at number 16. Would like to see him bump that up. And again, I think he's going to have a big year, sort of prove year here in Dallas with a contract due for him next season. Mikko Rantanen a bit higher, and we've hyped him up. We talk about how he's one of the superstars in the NHL. He lands at number 4 behind Kucherov, Pasternak, and Kaprizov, which feels very fair, to say the least. Those are wonderful players, and I think a large of NHL fans would be comfortable with that ranking, with Kaprizov, Pasternak, Kucherov above him. Behind him, to round out your top 10, you have Mitch Marner, William Nylander, Matthew Tkachuk, Sam Reinhart, Kyle, and Artemi Panarin. So a good top 10 as expected. But Rantanen right there within the top 4, which is really cool. So you have 2 top 20 wingers, at least according to the NHL. This sort of goes back to one of the chats I had with Ryan Chambers earlier last week. Be sure to check out that episode as well, Locked on Stars. And we've, of course, talked about a lot of the negatives over the offseason. That's just, I feel like that's what the offseason's for. But like, if Rantanen and Robo play on the same line next year and they are just rolling, like it could be fireworks, Stars fans. Like we could be witnessing an incredible duo of Rantanen and Robo and what they can produce next season. If they're both going in, you get Rantanen a full offseason. He's comfortable now. Robo healthy throughout training camp, knock on wood, and boom, they hit the ground running right off the bat. And let's face it, Dallas may need that. We've talked about the stretch to open the season, pretty tough. New system, probably. New coaching staff, new head coach. All of that can be solved if Rantanen and Robo just go scorched earth in the first month and the Dallas Stars can win right off the bat and then deal with maybe some of the growing pains later in the season. They can bank some points early. Central's going to be tough. Got some good teams again. Minnesota's going to be fully healthy. Winnipeg's probably going to hang around. They did lose Ehlers, probably hang around. St. Louis, probably going to hang around. Colorado, more than good enough. We know, like, there's not a ton of room for error in the Central. You cannot get off to a really bad start. You'll put yourself way behind the 8 ball. And Rantanen and Robo have a chance to, I think, do something really, really special here. And maybe it's sort of a, Sagan Ben from back in the day. Like that's where Dallas can make some hay. And, maybe for the lack of scoring depth they have in some other areas of the roster, well, Robo and Rantanen should be able to cover some of that up, you would hope, at least during the regular season. And it's going to be a really, really exciting start to the year for Dallas, that's for sure. But wanted to share you some lists that the NHL Network put out, and I'm sure we'll talk about the more lists that they continue to create. especially the defenseman one. I'm curious where Harley's going to land, because it's fair to say, and maybe after Miro's down year, he doesn't come up high in this ranking, but Miro and Harley, I think, can crack the top 15. So I'm going to be really intrigued about that. Let's see, NHL Network puts out. So there you go. That will do it for this Monday edition of Locked On Stars. Nathan Bastian, the newest Dallas Stars signee. Got some roster battles to keep an eye on, and some more good stuff here as the week continues to march on. I want to thank you for the love and support, as always, on every episode. Be sure to hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, never miss an episode of Locked On Stars. We're going about 3 days a week until middle of September, I would suppose, and then we're going to start ramping back up, get back to every day, since news, of course, is a bit old. Have a great week, Stars fans. Kick it off with a good Monday, I hope, and we'll see you on the next episode of Locked On Stars. Stars fans.